Hey mates, and welcome to More Than Meets the Eyes. I'm your host, Blind Prime, and for today we are finishing the Constructacons. Today we're talking about Mixmaster, Constructacon I've been waiting to come across for a while now. I am very happy to get Mixmaster, and I'm very happy to finish the Devastator collection. The team is done, and Devastator can be assembled, and that's what we're going to be doing later this week. But before we assemble the Devastator, we need to talk about Mixmaster and discuss his pros and discuss his cons. And then tomorrow we're going to be doing a transformation explanation video for Mixmaster. And then on Thursday we will be discussing Mixmaster's vehicle mode compared to all the vehicle modes for the Constructacons, including Hauler. And then on Friday, I will be, transforming and combining the Constructacons into Devastator. And of course, Road Hauler can stand on the side and watch. But that's the plan. So Saturday most likely will be the video that I review Devastator on. So this is going to be an exciting week. It's the week of Devastator. Yesterday we covered the Cobra Claw and the Cobra the Cobra Pilot. Not too bad. I just wish that figure was a little bit better. But I hope that all of you out there are having a wonderful day, and please hit the like button, share, subscribe, and comment below and let me know which is your favorite Constructacon. Out of the 7, which is your favorite? And yes, I am including Road Hauler in the 7 because, that fun storyline where Road Hauler used to be a Constructacon. I just love that storyline. So I got all 7 here. I'm just so excited. Knocking things over here, blind_prime, all the time. Okay, let's start the video off then. With the collapse of one of the figures. We can start the video. Yes. All right, where is my Mixmaster? Here he is, standing in the middle. So, first off, let's go ahead and take away some of these Constructacons so that we can have kind of a better idea of what's going on here. Let's go ahead and remove you, and we can hang on to Bone Crusher. We'll compare him to Bone Crusher first. So let's go ahead and take out Long Haul, and we also got Hook here. We can go ahead and remove. Did I get that wrong? I did. I took away Hook, called him Long Haul, and took away Long Haul and called him Hook. That's C'est la vie. All right, and we're gonna set the last one. My favorite guy over there. There we go. There we are. Now we've got a kind of a grouping of Constructacons. Hi, Cream. Have you come over to investigate the Constructacon army currently standing in your sleeping zone? You have? Are you affronted? Yeah, he's affronted. So let's compare him to Bone Crusher real quick and put them chest to chest and take a look. So the top of Bone Crusher's head, it comes to the brow of Mixmaster's head. And it's hard to find out because Mixmaster's head is underneath that the range shield. He's the Constructacon that walks around with an umbrella hat on. So that's pretty good. I think that's a reasonable exchange of sizes. I'm pretty sure Mixmaster used to be taller than Bone Crusher. Side to side, we've got the top of Bone Crusher's shoulder is, I'd say, 2.5 Lego studs away from the top of Mixmaster's shoulder. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Weight-wise, Mixmaster definitely wins on the weight department against Bone Crusher, but I think they look great together. Yes, they do. So that's Bone Crusher. Now let's go ahead and compare him to Scrapper. Scavenger, not Scrapper. Here's Scavenger, my favorite Constructacon. And here we go. And Scavenger is... Let's raise your arm. There we go. He had shrunk a little bit. There we go. Yeah, Scavenger stands at the same height as Bone Crusher. Well, a little bit, just a smidge taller than Bone Crusher, but basically the same height. Here at the shoulders, we get that the shoulders are about the same for Bone Crusher and Scavenger, and I think these two work well together. So let's go ahead and set Scavenger over here to this side. Here we go. And let's take a look at who's this guy. Oh yeah, we've got our big bruiser, who's always annoying because they only ask him to ever, carry stuff around. Here's Long Haul. And let's make sure you're standing up straight for best measurement possibilities. Okay, so we're going to stand them side by side and take a look at their shoulders. Their shoulders are basically on the same plane. So their shoulders are about even. And actually making sure of that, let's go ahead and lower that. There it goes. And yeah, there we are. And let's go ahead and double check that. So yeah, they're about the same. Though it seems like Mixmaster's shoulders just a smidge taller than Longhaul's shoulder. Here at the front, the top of Longhaul's head is just at the top of midway through this little umbrella thing on top of Mixmaster. So, weight-wise, Longhaul wins. He is just a slightly heavier, but not by much. Not by much at all. And it does help with Devastator that these weights are evenly distributed. So we're going to set Longhaul over here, off to that side. Let's grab the next one. Yeah. We've got Road Hauler. Yeah, let's compare him to Road Hauler real quick. All right, move your guns backwards. Let's go ahead and do that. I love how those guns can twist backwards. That's so fun. Okay, shoulder-wise, Road Hauler's shoulder is slightly taller than Mixmaster's shoulder. Head-wise, let's take a look. Lower yours down. Okay, and you're straight. Yeah. All right, and for some reason you're not getting closer. Oh yeah, because you got the long toes. We're gonna have to fold your toes in, do a good measurement with this guy. There we go. All right, the top of Road Hauler's head goes just above the top of the umbrella on top of Bone Crusher, not Bone Crusher, Mixmaster. So goes all the way just above his rain hat. Weight-wise, they're actually about the same. And plastic-wise, Mixmaster definitely wins on the plastic quality. Like the stuff for Road Hauler here, the old grapple mold, it's made out of a different type of plastic. It's a little more rattly plastic, a little more plastic that feels like it's it feels different. Definitely. Where the plastic for Mixmaster here kind of feels a little slick, and definitely it's got a higher quality feel to it than the plastic they used for Road Hauler here. Though the difference is that the Mixmaster plastic feels softer, and the Road Hauler plastic feels like gemstone. Like it is just hard, solid stuff. Even up here at the thigh, it's definitely a different type of plastic used with these guys, or maybe it's just a similar plastic but a different mixes. Anyway, yeah, I used mixes because of Mixmaster. So we're going to set Road Hauler off to the side. He was the example of how a current Voyager pairs up with a Voyager from Earthrise. And you notice the Voyager from Earthrise is definitely taller than the current Voyager. But weight-wise, they're about the same. So let's move on. We've got Hook. Yeah, Hook, the other crane truck in the Constructacons. The one that the only crane truck that combines with the Constructacons. So we got this. There we are. Standing up straight, kind of. Hook, you are just terrible about standing up straight. You do not like it. All right, and Hook stands. Mixmaster, stand up straight. There you go. All right, Hook is just above Mixmaster's head. The top of Hook's head comes to the bottom of the rain shield on top of Mixmaster's head. Side-to-side comparisons, their shoulders are even, and weight-wise, these guys are about even. Very, very close to even. And it seems like Mixmaster may weigh just a smidge more than Hook. And, that's nice. We want Devastator to not be top-heavy, and if Longhaul and Mixmaster weigh a lot, that means that, Devastator is bottom heavy. Now we come to Scrapper, which is my least favorite of the Constructacons that have been re-released, mainly because his transformation was just so boring. But here we go. His shoulder stands about the same height as Bone Crusher's shoulder compared to Mixmaster, and his head is lower than Mixmaster's head. And this is one of those interesting things. Weight-wise, Mixmaster has the weight on Scrapper. Like they're similar in weight, but Mixmaster is slightly heavier than Scrapper. And that does inhibit Devastator, and we'll talk about that later in the week. But I did want to take a look at that sizing and let you know, weight-wise, it seems just why is Scrapper such a smaller Voyager? It's so weird compared. Anyway, that is the comparison of all the Constructacons. So let's go ahead and put Scrapper over here to this side. And finally, let's talk about Mixmaster in full. So Mixmaster comes with one accessory, or two accessories actually. He comes with his little pistol gun, and this one's kind of cool because when he goes into truck mode, you can kind of turn this into an exhaust pipe. Kind of a neat little gun. Sculpt-wise, it's very lackluster. Like, we've got some nice ridges in here. We've got little divots. It's got some character to it. It's definitely got some character to it, and I think this one may be a blast effect compatible gun. Let's take a look. We need... just grab this one. Okay, so the big old blast pattern. Yeah, it's a blast effect compatible gun, and I approve. I was so sad when the Devastator gun isn't blast effect compatible because, like, you're so awesome, and I wish I could plug some huge blast effects into you. But I can't, and I don't know why they overlooked that. I still don't know why they overlooked the gun for Devastator not being blast effect compatible. So the other accessory he comes with is on his back, and it's his Cauldron. That's what I call it because he does alchemy, so he needs a cauldron, right? But it's his mixing bin, and it transforms. You can open it up and fold in the tray thing, and that's for that's kind of for the Devastator mode. But this tray has its own joint, so whenever he's in dump cement truck mode, the tray sits where the top of it faces the ceiling. And, it looks kind of like a cement truck. But then, when he's using it, he can move the tray to be vertical whenever the bottom of it's on the ground. And now, he can add things to his cauldron of crazy. And make some insane stuff. He's the one he's the chemist of the Constructabots. He makes all sorts of weird chemical materials and stuff, and glues and things like that, and weapons and explosives and stuff. So I like that we can remove his mixing bin, and then we can actually have it displayed next to him. Or he can actually, I think maybe he can hold it. So let's see, can you hold your display bin? Because I think you can. And if you can't, that is definitely going to go on the missed opportunity side of things. Let's get your arm straightened out, sir. There you go. Now let's see. We've got a port in there that feels like it could be a siege port, but it's not. Let's see. Hey, wait, can you fit on the side? Let's take a look. Aw, come on. You can't be doing this to me. You can't give me a piece, an accessory piece, and then not have it attach? Aw. If you had made these siege pegs, then I could have added it to his arm, and he could do things with it attached to his arm. Instead, it doesn't. It's got pegs on the bottom, but they're not siege pegs. And why did you do this? Why did you make this item that he could have possibly held, and then made it in such a way that he can't hold it? And it's still nice that you can set it on the ground in front of him, but that is upsetting that he can't put it on his arm so that he can mix things. It'll go in the hole, but it won't stay in the hole, and it just makes me sad. It makes me a little sad. Oh wait, there's a peg here at the very... No, that's rectangular. Never mind. One more try at the side. Nope. Okay. Oh well. Anyway, this is a cool little mixing bin. I like the fact that you can put it on the ground in front of him, or you can put it on a raised platform in front of him if you want. But that is a nice little accessory. It's rounded like a cement truck's barrel. That's it, the cement truck barrel, and it's pretty good overall. I think it's a fun little accessory. Its biggest hindrance is the fact that it doesn't have siege pegs on the rear that you can just kind of plug them into his hand or on his arm so that he can mix things. It's just so sad you can't do that. Now let's talk about the figure himself, and we're going to start from the feet because I like starting from the feet. And this guy's got some big old feet. He's got huge feet. You know what that means, ladies. So, his feet are really long, and it works out really well for him. This is one of the more stable Constructacons. Look at that. Yeah, you didn't fall. Let's do it again. Yeah. So he's one of the more stable Constructacons out there. The shake test, nothing rattles on him. Very tight joints everywhere. He does do ankle tilt, and big old feet. They're so long. They stretch out so far. And where's my handy dandy Lego pad? Let's take a look at how these feet interact. Where did I put that Lego pad? Oh, here you are. Come here, Lego pad. Okay. Let's take a look at how these feet interact and give you a better idea on their size, because I've got to point out these feet. They're clown feet. He's got ridiculous feet. Let's see. All right. So stretching from the bottom to the top, these feet are 10 Lego studs long. It's 10 Lego studs long. These feet are almost as long as a bumblebee is tall. So that's the feet. Now, height-wise, we're going to give him a little compare. We're measuring him all the way up to the top of his umbrella hat, and that is his height is there. That is the 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 studs tall for the height. Kind of a bigger guy, but mainly it's just because of his hat. He's got this crazy hat, and he wears crazy head for crazy chicken. So let's take a look at the textures. Now I like how the front of his feet have these really unique textures that kind of bring it down to a point, and that's really cool. It feels industrial, it feels tough, it feels strong, it feels a little over-engineered, and that's the good thing. You know, that's what you want from a Constructacon. You get on the front of the foot, we got vents. I'm so happy to get some more vents. We don't get enough vents, and there's some big old vents on the front of his foot. And we got below that, we've got this little area that has some etchings in it and some armor paneling, I'm assuming. Really nice feeling. On the side, it's smooth, but you get some of the textures from the vehicle mode here on the side. Especially, I think that's the windshield for the side, and then here's another windshield on the rear of him, and of course the bumper for the car, or the cement truck, is on the back of the leg. On the side of the leg, we've got the wheel for the front of the cement truck mode, and that's about it for the foot. On the inset. Oh, I don't need to start a coughing fit right now. Cream. Your hair. I inhaled one. I really got to brush that cat more often. Especially when the seasons are changing. So, we've got a really nice thigh, I think. Oh, the knee pulls a 90. The thigh here isn't really that well etched out, which is kind of a shame. I like it whenever they spend a lot of time making the thighs really unique. But this one's very lackluster. There are some textures here, but I felt more textures from something else in the past. That's for sure. He can kick up at above a 90. He can kick forwards at a 90. He can kick back at a 90. And there is no waist swivel. You stupid cat. Why do you have hairs? Why do you have hairs? Anyway, moving on. We've got coming up here to his groin area and his core. His groin's got a really cool thing. Feels kind of Gundam-like with this little etching in there that's raised out. It's something that you see a lot in Gundam, because I used to do a lot of Gunpla. That groin feels similar to Gunpla. Then we come up here to his chest area. We've got his abs, which are hidden in them down below, but there's a nice little rectangular area. It's smooth. I kind of wish they had put some textures in there. It's very smooth for his lower region here. We got a couple of etchings on each side that twist the body and like spread it out a bit more for the upper chest. And then we got his chest panel, which is this big solid feeling thing here that folds down. It's really cool. We got this little circle thing and another circle thing. They're kind of like his nipples. And he's got a really nice feeling chest. That is very solid. We come up here to his head, and his head is hidden underneath this umbrella hat thing. And you got it's a rounded head. We've got a face mask, which I'm always down for face masks. I love me some face masks. And little winglets on either side of his head. He's got a crest on his helmet, which is not something all the Constructacons have. And then we can feel kind of those eyes in there. Not too bad. Now, I don't know if he has light piping or not. And if he does have light piping, I have no idea how it's supposed to get in there. I just hope that they colored did that whole metal thing where the back of his eyes can shine. That's always fun. Now we come up here to above his head, and we've got this crazy hat. Timmy, put on the hat. Or crazy hat for crazy chicken. This is just, there's a couple of missiles. The ends of missiles, 1 and 2, and then there's a vent thing in the center. I love me some vents. And on top, we've got this ugly little cut in the plastic for Devastator's mode, which I wish there was a way to cover that up. It would have been nice to have a way to cover that up and hide it. They hide it with Scrapper, but they didn't really hide it too well with Mixmaster. Now we come over here to the side, and there's not really much on the texture-wise on the sides of his umbrella hat. Now we come down here to his arms. On the back of the arm, we've got the corrugated metal texture, which is like a metal grate, and I love that texture on things. I'm so happy that exists. And just like Hook, there is a a bicep swivel, and it is between the 2 wheels. That's fun. I like that they put it between the wheels. That makes things really nice. Elbow-wise, he only has a single elbow joint, but, it's more versatile than what we got with Combiner Wars, that's for sure. And the lower arm, and nothing going on with the hand. The hand's kind of encased in the lower arm, which is a shame. I wish the hand could fold out. But the arm itself is actually made up of the gas tank. The gas tanks on either side of the cement truck. So you have that texture going on where there's the dents and stuff, and it feels like one of those big silver gas tanks on the side of a semi-truck. And it works very well here. And he's got a siege port on his forearm, and he's got a siege port in his hand, of course. Other than that, he doesn't have any more siege ports. That's all the siege ports available to you. Wait, nope, there's one more, and it's on the back of his thigh. Pardon me. We've got where did it go? Because I remember I've utilized it in the past. I think it's hidden. But he does have a siege port in his thigh that you can utilize during transformation, and we will talk about that when we talk about his transformation. But that is Mixmaster kind of described by a blind man. It's a fun figure. He's got some weight to him. I do wish he had a bit more posability and maneuverability, and I do wish that the mixing bin had some siege ports to allow him to carry it, or allow other Constructacons like Longhaul to carry his mixing bin for him, because I think it'd be fun to pose Longhaul holding the mixing bin as Mixmaster's mixing it, and Longhaul's just grumbling that all he's ever good for is carrying stuff. Oh, I'm so happy to have finished this. So this Constructacon is getting an A+ in my opinion. He's got some negatives to him, and I admit that, but there are some really cool aspects to him. I especially really like how you can remove the mixing barrel, and he could just use it as an accessory in robot mode, and that's fun. That's what, this is the stuff I enjoy, is these random little things that they do, where you can take something off a Transformer and turn it into something else. And especially for Mixmaster, this works very well. Now, of course, you can plug it back onto his back, but the way it works back there, you can't actually add anything to it. So I love the fact that you could just use it as an accessory in front of him, and that definitely added some points. It is a shame it's not Siege Peg compatible, but I can forgive that. This guy is an excellent finishing move for Devastator. They saved some of the best for last. I know he's a little goofy with this crazy umbrella hat, but I remember he had the crazy umbrella hat. I didn't like Mixmaster much in the cartoon because of his crazy umbrella hat, but He works well here, and he's heavy enough to make for a good leg. So please, tune in tomorrow as I'm going to be teaching you how to transform Mixmaster from robot mode into vehicle mode. And then once again, on Thursday, we will be covering his vehicle mode and talking about it in depth to ensure that you best understand, how this cement truck looks and how it compares to the other Constructacons. And then on Friday, we're doing what I've been waiting to do for a long time. We're going to assemble Devastator. So excited! So excited! Until next Prime. Bye-bye for now.